The ones who scatter thorns on your path eventually bleed from the wounds they created themselves. Life has a way of balancing every scale, teaching the arrogant a lesson written not in words, but in the collapse of their own illusions. That's the law no critic, no hater, no hidden enemy can escape. They may laugh in secret, plotting your downfall, but the universe is their silent witness, ensuring every move against you becomes the very trap that swallows them whole. Critics don't realize this simple truth. When they try to bury a chosen one, they are unknowingly planting a seed that grows into something far too powerful for them to contain. Chosen one. This is why their attempts to sabotage you always backfire so spectacularly. They set fires to consume you, but those flames only forged you into steel. They spread lies to bury your name, yet their whispers turned into wind that carried your reputation farther than they ever imagined. Every curse they crafted has been nothing but an accidental crown placed upon your head. Remember this, your very existence haunts your enemies. They wake up knowing that your rise is their greatest defeat. And if you're here watching this, it's not by accident, it's alignment. The universe is showing you that your growth is no longer negotiable. Like and subscribe now, because this is where we expose how every failed attempt against you was secretly your initiation. Your enemies have already lost. You are the proof that their darkness can never outshine chosen light. Chosen one, you didn't just crawl out of the fire. You walked out carrying the flames as proof of your survival. And now the real question burns in the air. What do they do now that you've made it out of hell? Stay locked in, because the next few moments will reveal why your rise is the nightmare your enemies never prepared for. Before we dive into this, do 3 things. Hit that like button, subscribe so more chosen ones can rise with you, and drop the number 11 in the comments to seal your survival into victory. If you're truly one of the chosen, your spirit already knows this message was crafted for you. Don't look away now. The most powerful part is about to begin. Number 1. Stop ignoring the signs. Step into the legend you already are. They thought you were just another face in the crowd, another struggling soul trying to make sense of the chaos. What they didn't realize is that the very moment they placed their bets on your downfall, the universe placed its bet on your rise. Their investments weren't just wasted, they became the fertilizer for your transformation. Every resource they poured into keeping you small became the very spark that ignited your expansion. They tried to dim your light with shadows, but those shadows only proved how bright your flame truly was. They thought their schemes were traps, but every trap became a ladder rung, pulling you higher. Chosen one, the irony runs so deep it almost feels scripted. Every curse they flung at you returned like a storm, with double the force. Every whisper meant to poison your name ended up echoing back into their own reputations. They believed they were dealing with a fragile being they could bend, control, and discard. Instead, they triggered the awakening of someone carrying codes far older than their manipulation tricks. Someone marked with an identity that cannot be erased. They were playing checkers while you were being prepared for a cosmic chess match they never had the skill to win. And here's what cuts sharper than betrayal itself. Some of the very hands that tried to smother your fire were hands that once held you as family. They weren't strangers in the night. They were familiar faces cloaked in envy and fear. But this wasn't jealousy in its ordinary form. This was deliberate warfare disguised as care. They saw your potential long before you did, and instead of nurturing it, they treated it like a threat to their comfort, their money, their carefully guarded illusions of power. But what they failed to calculate is this. There are certain souls who cannot be sacrificed, no matter how elaborate the ritual, no matter how heavy the opposition. You are one of them. The very structure of who you are rejects defeat the way fire rejects water poured from a weak hand. Their attempts to destroy you became training grounds for your resilience. Their betrayals carved weapons out of your wounds. Their coordinated attacks turned into the very proof of your chosen status. Think back, chosen one. Think about those strange childhood moments that gnawed at your memory. The way certain relatives treated you with suspicion rather than love. The accidents that felt too neatly timed to be random. The friendships that collapsed just as you were about to discover your own voice. None of it was random. Every piece was part of a design not to crush you, but to reveal you. They thought they were dismantling your future, but what they actually did was strip away every false layer until only your authentic power remained. Number 2. Quit letting invisible hands control you. Seize back your moves. Chosen one, let's get real. How many times did it feel like someone was pulling strings behind the curtain of your life? You fought for happiness, yet every step forward came with invisible resistance. Doors slammed shut just when you were reaching for the handle. Opportunities dissolved right when you thought you had them secured. That wasn't bad luck. It was the silent fingerprints of those who wanted to keep you trapped, confused, and doubting yourself. They wanted you to believe you had no control, like a pawn being shifted across a board you couldn't even see. But here's the truth. Pawns don't stay pawns forever. Some transform into the most powerful force in the game, and that's exactly what happened when you refused to surrender. Every unseen hand that tried to move you became exposed the moment you stopped dancing to their strings. The more they tightened control, the more they revealed their fear of your potential. Chosen one, it's time to seize back your moves. No more reacting to the manipulation of others, no more second-guessing your instincts, no more giving away your power to critics and saboteurs. The irony, the harder they tried to box you in, the more they revealed that you were never meant to be contained. Their strategies only sharpened your vision. Their interference only trained your mind to see patterns others miss. Now every decision you make is yours alone, unshaken, unstoppable. They can plot, they can whisper, they can scheme, but they no longer hold the strings. You cut them, and when you cut those strings, you didn't just free yourself, you tangled them in their own game. That's the balance. Their control collapses, your freedom expands. Number 3. Don't fall for their setups. Outsmart every coordinated attack. Chosen one, the setups were never random. Every setback that felt too perfectly timed was exactly that. Designed, coordinated, and executed with precision. They studied your patterns, waited for your moments of progress, and struck when they thought you were most vulnerable. Broken relationships, sudden betrayals, opportunities snatched away right when they were within reach. It was all engineered to keep you second-guessing yourself. They wanted you chasing shadows, confused and drained, while they sat back thinking they'd outsmarted you. But here's the twist they never accounted for. Every setup became your training ground. While they thought they were teaching you weakness, they were actually sharpening your instincts to razor-edge precision. Their traps became your battlefield classroom. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every sabotage taught you strategy. Every unexpected loss hardened you into a strategist they could never compete with. Chosen one, don't fall for their tricks anymore. See them for what they are. Desperate attempts by collapsing opponents, trying to delay the inevitable. They may coordinate attacks, but you've mastered the art of counterplay. Their whispers sound louder only because your silence terrifies them. Their plans crumble faster now because your moves are no longer predictable. You've stepped out of their maze, and now you watch them run in circles while you advance forward. The irony? Their so-called master plans have only backfired. Every dollar spent, every hour wasted trying to set you up, only accelerated your evolution. They played checkers with borrowed moves, while you mastered the game they didn't even know existed. Number 4. Never trust betrayers in your bloodline. Protect your royal codes. Chosen one, nothing stings deeper than betrayal from within your own blood. Strangers can wound you, yes, but when it's family, the very people who are supposed to protect you, guide you, nurture your gifts, it cuts like a blade dipped in ice. You grew up wondering why certain relatives looked at you with envy instead of pride, why their words dripped with subtle poison instead of love. Now you understand, they saw something in you that terrified them. They recognized your royal codes before you even knew they existed. This was never ordinary jealousy. It was calculated sabotage disguised as family tension. They whispered lies, blocked opportunities, and tried to smother your light before it fully burned. Why? Because your presence threatened everything they built their fragile identity on: control, wealth, manipulation. They knew that if you ever awakened to your true nature, their schemes would crumble like glass beneath a hammer. So they tried to bury you under their own insecurities. But here's the twist they never calculated. Some bloodlines carry protections older than betrayal. You are one of those. Every time they tried to silence you, your voice grew stronger. Every attempt to weaken you activated another layer of your codes. They wanted to strip you of your birthright, but all they did was confirm it. Chosen one, protecting your royal codes means refusing to let their betrayal define you. Never trust those who've already shown their hand, no matter how familiar their face. Loyalty isn't written in shared DNA. It's proven in action. And those who turned against you have already declared themselves outsiders to your destiny. Number 5. Stop calling it coincidence. Decode the orchestrated chaos. Chosen one, how many times did you shake your head and say, "That was strange, maybe just a coincidence"? The sudden betrayal, the job that slipped through your hands, the mysterious illnesses, the accidents that lined up too perfectly, none of it was random. Chaos doesn't arrange itself so neatly without architects hiding in the shadows. What you thought were accidents were actually moves in a game designed to keep you doubting yourself, doubting your path, doubting your very worth. But here's the irony they never saw coming. Every piece of chaos they hurled at you became a code for you to crack. While they believed they were breaking you down, they were actually sharpening your mind, training your intuition, and awakening your ability to see behind the curtain. The coincidences were breadcrumbs scattered on your path, not to confuse you forever, but to guide you straight to the truth of who you are. Chosen one, it's time to stop brushing it off as chance and start decoding the message. Every betrayal was a lesson in discernment. Every collapse was proof of a higher construction taking place. Every storm that seemed designed to drown you was really strengthening your ability to command the waters. The orchestrated chaos that was meant to shatter you only carved your vision sharper than a blade. Now nothing can blindside you. You see through manipulation before it even arrives. You recognize patterns that others overlook, and the ones who once thrived on keeping you confused are the very ones now trapped in the confusion they built. Number 6. Don't underestimate ancestors. Lean on ancient protection systems. Chosen one, there are forces older than any scheme your enemies could ever imagine. While they sat around plotting, counting coins, and whispering lies, they forgot something crucial. You were never walking this path alone. Behind you stands an unbroken chain of power, strength, and wisdom. Your ancestors didn't just live and die. They left codes, protection systems, and shields woven into the very fabric of your existence. Think about it. Every attempt to curse you, every effort to derail your path, every dagger aimed at your back, none of it worked the way they hoped. Why? Because the moment they moved against you, they weren't fighting just you. They were colliding with centuries of protection that runs in your blood. They were trying to play games on a battlefield already claimed by forces they couldn't even perceive. That's why their so-called power keeps turning against them. Your enemies underestimated the invisible guardians that walk with you. They thought their modern tricks could outmatch the silent armor of your lineage. But ancient systems don't need recognition to operate. They run in the background of your life like unbreakable codes, shielding you even when you don't consciously call on them. Every storm you survived wasn't because you got lucky. It was because your ancestors refused to let their bloodline break under enemy hands. So don't underestimate what walks behind you. Lean on it, honor it. Understand that your enemies never feared you alone. They feared the entire legacy moving through you. And that fear is justified because every failed attack against you adds more weight to your shield, more strength to your rise. Number 7. Stop dismissing synchronicities. Treat them as divine intel. Chosen one, how many times have you brushed off those strange alignments? Numbers repeating everywhere, running into the right person at the exact right time, hearing words in a song that seemed written just for you. You called them coincidences. You laughed them off. But the truth is, nothing was random. Those weren't accidents. They were encrypted messages, a stream of intel feeding directly into your awareness, guiding you step by step out of hell. Your enemies hoped you'd stay blind to these signs. They wanted you to doubt, to chalk it up to imagination. Because once you start recognizing synchronicities for what they really are, the entire game shifts. Suddenly, you realize you're not wandering aimlessly. You're moving with precision. Every random alignment is proof that you're wired into a system they can't touch, one that keeps positioning you for victory while dismantling their control. Stop dismissing these signals. They're not for your entertainment. They're instructions for your expansion. Think of them like coordinates in a cosmic battlefield. Flashes of intelligence revealing where the traps are, where the allies are, where the next breakthrough waits. Ignore them and you'll miss the shortcuts. Respect them and you'll navigate life with the accuracy of a master strategist. Chosen one, understand this. Every synchronicity is both confirmation and preparation. Confirmation that you've broken free of manipulation, and preparation for the moves that will terrify those who tried to bury you. That's why they fear your awareness. Because once you read the signs, you become impossible to control. Number 8. Quit playing small. Transform pain into spiritual weaponry. Chosen one, every wound they gave you was meant to break you. Every betrayal, every humiliation, every dark night was designed to shrink you into silence. They wanted you to play small, to believe your pain was proof of weakness. But what they never understood is that pain in the hands of the chosen is not a chain, it's a weapon. Think about it. A blade is only sharpened through friction. Diamonds are only formed under pressure. And you, your very soul, was carved into something unbreakable through every scar they tried to brand you with. The nights you cried in secret, they became fuel. The moments you thought you lost everything, they were forging the armor you wear now. Every insult they hurled at you turned into ammunition that blasts holes in their illusions. Quit playing small. You were never built for the shadows they tried to shove you into. Your pain has been alchemized into something they cannot touch, an arsenal of strength that strikes harder than their petty schemes ever could. The beauty of your rise is that their cruelty handed you the very tools they now fear. They didn't just fail to destroy you, they accidentally trained you into becoming a warrior who sees through their lies, their tricks, their manipulations. And now, chosen one, every step you take carries the energy of battles already won. You don't fight with fists, you fight with presence, with truth, with a power that makes their structures collapse on contact. What do they do now? Nothing but tremble, because the same pain they weaponized against you has become the sword that cuts their control to pieces. Your survival wasn't survival, It was transformation, and that transformation is the nightmare they can't escape. Number 9. Don't bow to false authority. Remember, you outrank them spiritually. Chosen one, understand this clearly. False authority was always their weapon of choice. They wore masks of power, raised voices, and built illusions of control, hoping you would shrink in their shadow. They needed you to believe they sat on a throne above you, when in truth they were standing on a crumbling pedestal made of lies, fear, and borrowed influence. Every rule they forced on you, every demand they made, was designed to keep you in submission to a power they never truly possessed. But here's what terrifies them now. You've realized the game. You see that their crowns are made of paper, their authority built on sand. You don't bow anymore because you finally know who you are. And when a chosen one remembers their true rank, every false ruler shakes. Your very presence dismantles their illusion. One look in your eyes and they know the charade is over. Think of it this way. They built castles out of smoke, and you carry the wind. They tried to convince you that you were beneath them, when in reality, your very energy eclipses theirs. You don't need to fight for recognition. Your essence exposes their fraud. Their fear isn't of your rebellion, it's of your existence. Because when you rise, their false authority disintegrates in full view of everyone they once deceived. Chosen one, don't ever bow again. Not to family who tried to suppress you. Not to systems that thrive on keeping people small. Not to voices that scream power but tremble at truth. Remember, you outrank them, not by titles, not by status, but by essence, resilience, and unshakable authenticity. And the moment you stopped kneeling, their empire of lies began to collapse. Number 10. Stop fearing their curses. Watch them collapse under cosmic justice. Chosen one, their curses were never stronger than your will to rise. They spoke against you in secret, thinking their venom could stain your path. But every word they hurled was nothing more than a boomerang cutting back into their own skin. They thought shadows could dim your fire, but fire doesn't ask permission, it consumes. They whispered hexes, chanted lies, and poured energy into stopping you, not realizing that all they were really doing was fueling the very storm that would destroy their fragile towers. You see, fear is what they counted on. They wanted you trembling at the thought of their power, imagining they could dictate your destiny with spells, rumors, or manipulations. But the chosen don't operate under fear. We operate under inevitability, and the inevitable truth is this: their curses collapse, their schemes unravel, their masks burn away under the weight of justice they can't outrun. Call it karma, call it balance, call it universal law. It doesn't matter. What matters is this: no one escapes the consequences of what they've done. Look around. The cracks in their world are already showing. Sleepless nights, friendships dissolving, money slipping through their hands like water, plans that once looked invincible collapsing overnight. That's not coincidence. That's the bill arriving for the debt they created when they targeted you. They mocked your resilience, but now they're haunted by it. Chosen one, you don't need to fear their curses, because those curses were never designed to touch someone like you. They were designed to expose themselves. Their energy is turning inward, their games are imploding, and their downfall is the loudest proof of your rise. Watch closely. Every collapse of theirs is a confirmation that you were never the one at risk. Number 11. Don't waste survival. Activate your mission to free others. Chosen one, survival was never the finish line. It was only the initiation. Making it out of hell wasn't about crawling back to comfort. It was about being forged into a weapon the world has never seen before. You've already proven you can't be destroyed, but now the universe demands something greater: activation. Your story isn't just yours anymore. It's a blueprint, a signal flare for others still trapped in the fire you escaped. Think about it. Every scar you carry is not a reminder of pain, but a map that shows the way out. Every betrayal you endured turned into a code of discernment that others desperately need. Every time you refused to break, you created proof that survival is possible. But if you stop here, if you waste survival by treating it as the end, you rob others of the freedom your journey was meant to unlock. The ones who tried to bury you are terrified not of your survival, but of your testimony. Because once you start speaking, their entire network of lies begins to collapse. You're not just a survivor, you're living evidence that their power was fragile all along. And that evidence has the potential to liberate countless souls who don't yet realize they're chosen too. Chosen one, don't waste survival, activate it. Let your rise become the chain reaction that shatters illusions across the board. Let your presence remind the world that every prison has an exit. Your enemies wanted silence, but silence was never your destiny. The hell you conquered wasn't just for you. It was the key to unlock thousands more. And now your mission is clear. Step into the role that haunts them most, the one thing they can't fight against, a chosen one who turns survival into liberation. Number 12. Quit thinking your story ends here. Step into the blockbuster destiny. Chosen one. Too many people think the story ends when you survive the storm. They believe crawling out of the fire is the grand finale, the closing scene. But for you, escaping hell wasn't the ending. It was only the prologue. Your survival is the trailer. The real movie begins now. And it's not just a story. It's a blockbuster written in the ink of destiny, with you as the lead character they can't replace. Your enemies wanted you to believe that making it out alive was all you could hope for. They thought the best-case scenario for you was just surviving. But here's the twist. Survival was only your training ground. While they celebrated your struggles, you were silently stacking victories. Every scar became a plot twist. Every betrayal became fuel for the next scene. Every so-called ending became the setup for a bigger rise they never saw coming. Chosen one, your destiny isn't survival, it's dominance. It's stepping into arenas they swore you'd never touch. It's speaking truths that collapse their illusions like fragile sets on a stage. It's living a life so untouchable, so undeniable, that it feels scripted by forces greater than them. You're not here for a small role, you're here to carry the whole narrative. So quit thinking this is where it ends. This is where the soundtrack gets louder, the lights get brighter, and the world leans in because the chosen one just took the stage. They threw every obstacle at you, hoping for credits to roll early. Instead, all they did was set the stage for Act 2, your rise into legendary status. And now, chosen one, we arrive at the point where everything becomes clear. Their attacks, their betrayals, even the hell you walked through. It was never your ending. It was your awakening. You didn't just make it out, you made it through, stronger, sharper, untouchable. From this moment on, every step you take is a reminder that their defeat was written the moment you chose to rise. If this message speaks to your spirit, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and drop "I made it" in the comments to claim your victory. Your story isn't over, it's only getting started.